Hello, this is another edition of One-on-One with OtunbaHOO, and it's a lovely weather outside, and I'm bringing you another lovely edition, and it's my pleasure to welcome one of the most prominent Nigerian in diaspora. He has been around for a long period of time. He is one of the high flyers. When we're talking of high flyers among the Nigerians and even Africans in the diaspora, he has done so much to support the community. He's a well-known face, well known by the different organs of government in this country, and he has a long record to protect. He has so many things to tell us today, and I'll be taking him to do so. I have with me, I choose to add, is a chief, but I choose to add elder. Elder in the sense that he's well matured, over matured man. He has children and probably start having grandchildren. I'm talking about somebody you must have met or seen or heard of. I'm talking of Elder Chief Bimbo Folayan. The name will immediately ring a bell, and we ring a bell because it's connected to a central body called CANUK. But as usual, I'm going to get Chief Bimbo to add or top up my introduction by asking him. The first question is going to be, who is Chief Robert Bimbo Folayan, or Chief Bimbo Folayan Robert? Help me put it together and tell me who you are.
Good
You're
evening.
welcome to my program.
Good evening, Otunba.
Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for adding to my titles. So I'm elder, actually. Thank you so much. Who is Bimbo Folayan? Well, I'm a Nigerian, a diasporan who lives in the UK. I've lived in this country for 24 years.
Okay.
I left Nigeria during the June 12 struggle.
Okay.
I used to be chairman of the June 12 movement when an election was annulled in Nigeria in 1993.
Yeah.
And I came with a pregnant wife, and the rest is now history. Now we have 3 children, thank God. I also work as an IT consultant. I've consulted for most of the banks in this country.
Okay.
Virtually all the bank mergers, I've been part of it. I've also worked in telecoms as a quality assurance program or project manager on most projects. I'm also a leader in the Nigerian community, in the black community actually, because I do a lot within not just the Nigerian community, but with the African community, the black community in general. I'm also a humanist. I love people. I love young people particularly. And I'm very protective of women because I was raised as a single, my mom was a single mom.
Okay.
So I look at the human side of things. I just want to contribute my own little quota to what people like you and others are doing.
Oh,
so
thank you.
When all of us start to join it together, it becomes big. So that's who I am. I work in IT. Now I also promote, support Nigerians, and eventually it's going to be Africans also, who live in the diaspora, who want to go back to their country to set up businesses.
Okay.
I've realized that a lot of people, once we've lived there for some time, we always want to go back. We get to a certain age, we don't want to stay here anymore. And I realized that when I was, I became CANUK chairman. I was going to events, and most of the problems people were bringing to me had something to do with, I want to go back home, or I'm trying to set this up. You know, so, and that's why now I set up investment summits. I do business club meetings too.
We'll get to that in a minute, but before we get to that point, I want to take you back and also use this opportunity to get our viewers to know you. When you mention CANUK,
Yeah.
I remember CANUK come to mind during the time of
Dr.
Dr.
Christopher Kolade.
Christopher Kolade,
Yes.
the High Commissioner to the UK.
Yes.
2005.
2005.
Yeah, 2004 thereabout.
Yes.
And around that time is when CANUK become more pronounced, more known to people. And you were you the chairman or the second?
I was the second.
The second chairman. Tell us more about the formation.
Okay.
And the present situation of CANUK, because more people want to know about it. What is CANUK, for example?
So what happened is that when Dr. Christopher Kolade came to the UK, he met a Nigerian community that was in turmoil. In turmoil. There were several groups, all of them claiming to represent the Nigerian community. Everybody wanted to have access to the High Commission, and there was too much fighting. So it got so bad that the divisions were even across religious and ethnic lines. And people went to court, Nigerians fighting against themselves. So he devised a solution. He called all the leaders of all the organizations. I called them to the High Commission one day and said, listen, now we need to bring all of us under one umbrella. So they set up a committee. That committee was headed by Pa Adebayo.
Okay.
Is now, he should be in his very late 80s or thereabouts.
I think I remember, yeah.
He was the chairperson. And if I'm right, the secretary of that committee was this famous Nigerian lawyer, our friend, very famous in the community. He was a son, he was also QC, and was traveling around.
Is that, okay, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yes, the names just escaped my head. So they had this small committee of Nigerian leaders in the community, and their remit was to bring all the associations together, including the Nigerian National Union, which was the major organization. We had so many organizations, all of them jostling for attention. And they brought them to the High Commission, and they said, let's create a constitution.
A big umbrella.
A big umbrella, but we first of all create a constitution. Okay. And this constitution, we hold everybody together under the same platform. And that constitution that was produced, to my mind, was the best ever constitution any country can even have. Forget about the being association. It was a constitution that was created to give other associations independence. So you stand on your own, but you subscribe to the general body. It's almost like a federal constitution that allows every association to be independent, to stand on their own, but at the same time to contribute to the center. And the center was supposed to be a little bit weaker than the bodies that make the.
So that's a proper federalism.
That's proper federalism. Many people don't know that this is one of the best constitutions ever created by Nigerians. Even if that constitution, if it's applied in Nigeria, it will solve a lot of problems. Anyway, so they had this constitution, and they called a general election, and people were to vie for different positions. And I vied. I was chairman of Association of Nigerian IT Professionals.
Around that time, yeah.
Around that time, I was also chairman of the Nigerian Project. The Nigerian Project used to be a political organization made up of the who is who in the political scene in the UK in those days. And we had all the big names as members of that group. And so I applied, picked up the form to become chairman of CANUK. Another gentleman from a Ebonyi State Association picked up the form to also become chairman, Dr. Mark Abani.
Okay, I remember. Yes, yeah.
Yes. So we had the election, and he won the election, and I hugged him, and that was how CANUK was created. And 3, 4, 5 years down the line, Dr. Abani and his executives were just living. They served 2 terms. They couldn't go for in CANUK, you can't go, doesn't allow you to go for more than 2 terms. But they had to spend extra year because that was when we had the Nigeria at 50.
Okay.
During the Nigeria at 50, I was invited by the High Commission and the Nigerian community. And they said, you, this guy, you lost that election, you never fought, you never quarreled, you were always still supporting. We want you to come and run for election.
Again, yeah.
Several people called me, so and I went. So I ran for election in 2011, and I won that election. It was a landslide.
Wow.
It was a landslide. I ran against somebody Charles. Can't remember the last name now, but he came from another association. But I won that election with a landslide, biggest margin ever. It was about 49 associations to 9.
Okay.
Something like that, you know. And so CANUK was formed, and if you look at the constitution, we have professional bodies, the medical bodies, the accountants,
all the bodies.
IT professionals. We have the social bodies, we have the ethnic nationalities, the Arewa, the
all the associations.
All the associations. We have the social, the youth, the women organizations. All of us came together, and we now represent the Nigerian community. And that's the foundation of CANUK. And I served 2 terms. I left. Some other regime came up, and that was Tunde Loye. They also ran their own term. He ran a term or so. And now we have Dr. Boma Douglas, the chairman of CANUK today. Yep.
Thank you very much, Chief, for giving us the background to the emergence, the creation and formation of CANUK. Yeah, you said it, the congregation of different platforms, different organizations is what made CANUK. That is the central body for all these people in diaspora. Now, presently, are you still active member of CANUK, or where is CANUK today?
Okay, so I will say that maybe we need to do more work in this community, because a lot of Nigerians who live in the UK don't know that they are automatically members of CANUK. By right, every one of us, including you, sir, should be a member of CANUK. And I will explain that. The way it was conceived is that we will have all the associations, but then we have people that don't register. It doesn't mean, so you could be a Christian or a Muslim. Just because you don't go to the church or you don't go to the mosque doesn't mean you're not. So if you're a Christian, even if you don't go to church, you're still a Christian. So that's the way CANUK was formulated. That's the mouthpiece for all Nigerians that live in the UK. For the High Commission to reach the community, it has to go through CANUK. To even get to the associations, they will have to call CANUK and say, CANUK executives, we need to get to the medical doctors, for example. And that was the way it was formulated. So on 2 fronts, I'm a member by right, just like you.
Yeah.
On the other hand, as a pioneer member of CANUK, I'm always there as part of CANUK. Any association that I'm involved in, I make sure they register. So we have the NDDIS, which is the Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summit. We're members of CANUK. So, yeah, I am.
So that's where we are. So, in another word, CANUK is still alive. It's still.
Oh, CANUK is very much alive. CANUK was created to do 2 major things: to create peace within the Nigerian community, and to hold the community together, and to create unity. Presently, there's peace in the community. Presently, they're working behind the scene, trying to bring the community to unite the community and to reach out to other people. So they're also busy working behind the scene.
Right. Thank you very much for this also.
Sure.
Presently and currently, I have read a little bit. There is different kind of thing about you. You have diversified to, you said you're an IT person, an IT group for that matter. And you also boldly say that you have been involved in banking rebranding, different kind of business rebranding, and so on and so forth, which is kudos to. Now, tell us what exactly are your present passion? What exactly is your present preoccupation? What exactly are you doing at the moment? Or you living on the eldership?
So I work as an IT consultant.
Yes.
I consult with projects mainly. So I just left a consultancy work I was doing with TCS on a project with Nationwide Bank.
Okay.
Now I want to go back and concentrate on investment drive back into Nigeria. So that is my passion at the moment.
Yeah.
I do a bit of property development as well, and I've been doing this for the last probably 15 years, or even 20 years. But mainly from now, I'm going to be concentrating on actually diverting investment back into Nigeria.
And how does that work?
The way it works is that I've realized that one of the major problems we have is that we don't know how to bring, you know, people have different qualities. So some people have money, some have ideas, some have needs, okay, but they have skills, okay. So what I do with about 40 other people under NDDIS is that we try to identify those with the funds, those with the initiatives, those with the skills, and we create a marketplace.
Those who have the need.
Who have the need, so we can. I've also realized that the diaspora can turn things around in Nigeria, in Africa. We can change the tide of things. We can create jobs. Majority of Nigerians who live in the UK, for example, want to go back to their country. So it's a win-win for them. One, you can, if you have some little bit of money that you can attract, or you have some business idea that works, maybe that you've gained in the UK, you want to take it back to your country. And I can also bring somebody into the room that can say, oh, I can match fund, or I can give you some funding to it. So that's a problem solved.
Okay.
You can take that to your, I can then bring the policymakers from Nigeria to show you opportunities of where you can invest that. And when you go there, you will then be able to create jobs. And then you're happy because you're now doing a business. Let me give you one story. I went to Ghana. That must be some 15 years ago.
Okay.
And I was on my way back to London from Accra. I flew on a plane, and I was, you know, sitting close to a guy who suddenly said to me that I'm the happiest man. So I said, why? Why are you so happy? And he said, you know what? I live in the UK, but I employ about 25 people in Ghana. So I said, how do you do it? He said, you know what? I work here, but I've set up a garment factory in Ghana. And guess what? My garment factory feeds about 100 people. I said, how did you calculate 100? He then explained to me that I have 25 people working in my garment industry. And I pump all the money I make, I pump into that sector, into that business. But some of them are married, they have 2 children, so I'm paying their school fees as well.
Okay.
So that set me thinking. Do you know some of the skills we have gained in this country with the resources that we have, we can use that to create business back home that supports our people back in Nigeria. And that really, really set me thinking. And it's one of the reasons why we came up with the NDDIS.
Well, there's one interesting part of your narration here.
Yes.
You said there are 3 categories of people that interest you in your in your preoccupation. That is those who have the ideas, but they don't have money.
Yes.
But those who have money but don't have the idea.
Yes.
And the third said those people who have a need to want to buy the cakes, bread, or whatever, or getting their clothes on, and so on and so on. So your main thing is to, connect all these 3 people together.
Yes.
And does that only limited to artisan area, or does that for people who does other things like maybe they are lawyers or some other area of endeavors? Are you limited to?
No. We're not limited. We're only limited by scope of what we do. What we do is that we are not financial advisors. We could become financial advisors in the future, but we don't do financial advice for now because we're not skilled to do it. The only thing we do now is to create a kind of marketplace. So what we do is called matchmaking.
Okay, matchmaking.
So it's matchmaking. We create a platform that is respected and is trusted by all parties concerned. So in the diaspora, we are loved and respected and trusted also. So people know that, oh, we know him, oh, we know them. These guys will never lie to us. So we bring those ideas from the diaspora, all those initiatives. Somebody's thinking of setting up this, setting up that, and you've done a lot of research. You know how you want to go about it. But now you don't have the funding, right? We also go out to start looking for banks investors
Okay.
or people that can put money into it. And then we go to Nigeria where they have the needs for all of those things. And we go to the states, for example, we invite a governor. While I was talking to you just now, you know, I was called by that's from an executive council meeting they were having in one of the states. And they said, oh, no, we want to come. But so we go to them, we say, bring your ideas and no, bring your opportunities. Come and show us, do you have land? Do you have raw materials? Do you have this? Come and pitch to the diaspora. And when they pitch to the diaspora, people with the ideas, people with the funding can then start to talk. So so it's not limited to any specific area yet.
Okay.
At the moment, it's for virtually every area. It could be in law, it could be in finance, it could be in as long as it's something that creates wealth. Yeah, that's what we're focused on.
And that takes me to the next level of area I want to rub mind with you. It looks to me that most of your area of preoccupation is to take more business back home. Am I right?
Yeah, and to also now we're killing
two
birds with one stone, more or less. We're supporting diasporans who want to go home naturally. Yeah, they want to go home, so we're supporting them to get them something they can do when they go back home. Because by the time you've lived in the UK and you are in your 40s, in your 50s, you're not likely to go back to Nigeria and start looking for work because the jobs are not there because of age factor. So you're thinking of setting up a business. So we support you to go. We support the Nigerians back home who need jobs, right? They need jobs. So they're waiting for your genius to create jobs for them. But all we do is to make it easier for you. Now, everything I'm saying here sounds a bit easy, but it's not that easy. It's a bit complex. We're not there yet. We're struggling. But we've started. We're trying to pull things together, even though we're still fine-tuning them.
Sounds good to me. Because what I was thinking aloud was like, if you look at the present structure in Nigeria, how good is it to do business in Nigeria? Because you must not forget that most of the investors, even we that are also Nigerians, you do not want to go home to invest in a very volatile environment. You want the environment to be conducive, that will protect your investment. So what will you say about the present situation in Nigeria in the area of security? Do you think Nigeria is good now for anybody to invest, put into consideration security and some other area of infrastructure? What's your take?
So my take is that if we don't do it, who's going to do it for us? No one. So the way people have challenged me several times, oh, you're inviting people to go and invest in an unstable. This is your country. I'm sorry. So if you don't do it, who's going to do it? The Chinese are there. They're doing it. With the security situation, the Chinese are everywhere. Indians are in Nigeria. We have people coming from all over the world. So you lived in Nigeria at one time in your life, and you realize that your country has a lot of issues, security issues. There's so much frustration. And I must confess to you, there are times I'm really frustrated with Nigeria, even as a facilitator. And I look at myself, I said, I'm the one trying to bring diasporans to invest in their country, and I'm getting frustrated. So those frustrations are there. But from what we've seen so far, people who have been patient, who took their time to understand the environment, and to also understand that you cannot change the environment overnight. It is something that we have to keep working at. They're doing very well in Nigeria. I have friends who have gone to Nigeria today, and they will never come back and work in England for whatever amount of money you get.
Because it's very easy to hit jackpot.
No, because, well, not just the jackpot. I think in
terms of business,
there are so many needs in Nigeria that the security situation in Nigeria is even business for us in diaspora. So you and I should be sitting up and saying, how was all of the problems we're having in Nigeria now, they've had it in other parts of the countries, other parts of the world in the past. How did they solve it? what can we create to resolve the problem in our country? So the issue of water, of electricity, issue of health, education and everything, these are areas that we can invest in from the diaspora. Because now, when we are going there to sort the problems, it's a win-win for us. We will solve a problem and we will make business out of it and we will create jobs. So it's not going to be easy, but at the end of the day, at least we would have tried something for our country.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Chief, there is also this common issue of why are we having problem to resolve our problem? Because for an ordinary person or an average diasporan, look back and say, why am I, when I'm living in Holland, or I'm living in Belgium or Benelux or Germany or anywhere, and things are working. When I say things are working, we're looking at the basic need of human beings, citizens of all these countries. What exactly are we doing wrong? What do you think we are not doing, or that we're supposed to be doing, or what is the magic? Is it, are they doing a rocket science?
No.
What are they doing that we are not doing?
Okay.
That because we keep talking and talking and talking.
Let me give it.
Sorry, 1 minute. We keep using ethnicity as one of the reasons. We use religion as one of the reasons. We use different religion. We use so many things as the reasons why we are having this kind of not progressing, not making progress in what we do. And we look back and look at different countries in Europe. They are doing well. They also have issue of politics, like in Malaysia, in Singapore, and so on. They have different religion structures and settings, or in India. So what do you think they are doing in the UK, for example, that we're supposed to be doing and we're not doing it?
I think it's not rocket science. I think it's very, very straightforward, very, very clear. But before I go into that, let me tell you, I don't know whether you've been to the airport in Nigeria. You're trying to board.
The last time was about 4 years ago.
Yes, okay. So you're trying to board an aircraft. And you see the way Nigerians rush, even step on each other's toes, push people away and even push the young people, push a lady and all of that stuff just to get in. And as soon as you get to Heathrow, you are queuing. So the problem is
narrative changed, everything changed.
Everything changes. So there are three words actually, and those, which is our main problem to my own understanding, it's just our lack of respect of rule of law.
Rule of law.
Rule of law. We live, you see, in this country, everybody lives according to.
Within the ambit of the...
Within the ambits of the law.
Yeah.
Okay? If there was no law in this country, it would be difficult for a black man to walk on the streets, I can tell you. There are people that would probably want to stone you. That's the reality. It's not nice to say, but that's the reality. If there was no law in this country, people would behave anyhow. There will be a lot of people that would like to slap somebody, without provocation. But these are things that we do in Nigeria. So what I've discovered is that most of the Nigerians that I know have PhD in analysis, in complaints, in condemnation of government, of opposition, of the situation in Nigeria. But by ourselves, we are not ready to live by the law. So because we are not ready to live by the law, and we only complain about things that does not favor us, the problems refuse to go. So take the case of election rigging in Nigeria. Everybody rigs in Nigeria. But then people complain that the other guy rigged more than I did. But you rigged too. So if today we wake up, and this is one of the reasons I've been saying, if we want to move forward as a country, what we need to do is to declare an amnesty. We just declare a financial... Look at the case of corruption. There's so much corruption in Nigeria because it's become a way of life. And it's difficult to live even within your means in Nigeria if you're not a bit corrupt. And sorry, I'm not saying everybody, I'm just saying a lot of people rely on corruption to survive in the country. For us to stop it, we will not be mentioning a few names of people who are stealing when we know that virtually everybody is stealing.
Yes.
You know, virtually everybody is stealing. That's it. That's what I've discovered. Sorry. Very few people want to live within the ambits of the law in Nigeria, and that's the problem we have. Until we have a day, a time when we declare we want to start afresh, we need an implosion, actually. For me, what we need is an implosion.
With that explosion will bring us the rule of law?
Implosion is when we implode.
I understand. Actually, is that going to bring us the rule of law?
It should bring us rule of law. But now we will now sit up and say, come on, let's start afresh. Now, you will not cheat me and I will not cheat you. And
nobody will be above.
Nobody will be above the law. Take, for example, in Nigeria, people are paid 18,000 naira per month and they don't get it. And salaries of workers are owed.
What's the rule of law going to do with that? How is the rule of law going to help?
A lot to do with that. Look, and then some people in the Senate, for example, earning millions per month. So because we've not set the law properly, it's not a fair society. It's not a fair society. It's a society. It's not a fair society. No, if we are not fair to each other, there's no future, there's no hope. So we're just going to be struggling. So Nigeria is struggling because we're not fair to each other. We're not considerate of the other person. If somebody is earning 15 million naira per month, and they can choose to go to work maybe 2 weeks in a month, and a man who goes to work every day for 30 days or 20-something days in a month,
30 days, I mean,
earns 18,000 naira and is not paid, and he's still not going to steal if he has the opportunity.
Of course.
So this is, and if you look at all the leaders we've had, for example, I know I'm digressing here.
No, it's okay.
Most of them have come from they were actually, if you look at their background, they were never rich. Okay, they've come from the poor background too. So what has changed? It is the society. I think the society, until we get to that stage where we redraw the line, we say, let's start afresh.
Wow.
So that's my analysis of it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, most of the fora where I have participated, we have talked about what are the solutions to our problems, and especially the program I've been involved for many years on some other television, radio. They call me Baba rule of law and all that kind of thing, and I'm not ashamed to. So I share the same thing. Now we're going to go on a short break now. When we come back, I want to talk about the problem facing us also here, because all sounds good, looks glossy, but we still do have issues here. So when we come back, we will deal with that. Please do not go away. One with OtunbaHOO, and my guest today is I added that elder to his name. Is a chief, Chief Bimbo Folayan, a former diaspora leader of CANUK. CANUK is a central body of all activities that all Nigerians in diaspora do partake. Now we have been talking about all different kind of things, but we've spoken about his present preoccupation, his business in investment, or what he's looking for, his team. And it's been clearly stated that he's looking at 3 areas. He coordinates people who has ideas, people who has the money but they don't have the idea, and also people who now have need to have the idea and the money. Now, we have also spoken about the present situation in Nigerian polity, the problem of not succeeding in how far we want it to be, and then all looks a little bit glossy but gloomy and all. Now, but we're coming to talk about present situation. As an elder in the community, the last few months has been very terrible time for most of us parents. Yeah, because we need to see this as our problems. It is not one man problem. If a child of anybody, no matter, even if it's an Ugandan or whatever, even if a child of a British citizen is killed, especially using knife and gun, and especially among the youth, among people of younger age, it is not a good thing. It is a terrible thing. So what's your general take about what is going on, that we have lost so many children of us?
50 something.
Yeah, so what do you think exactly is happening, and what can we do? Just within a minute or so, can you quickly tell us what do you think?
Well, I think it's a deep problem. If you look at the problem, it's also to do with the status of the parents, particularly. Parents in the African community, particularly. Many of them working 3, 4, 5 types of jobs, not having enough time for their children, and the children joining gangs and groups and all that. So the original problem is from the home.
So it's not a one-day thing.
It's not a one-day thing.
It's build up.
It's something that's built up. It's something that we're talking about the youths now. I think we need to also talk to the parents. And I think, about 4 years ago, I think Mrs. Dozie Nwana, the wife of the acting high commissioner at the time,
yes, I remember.
Actually set up a program to address parents. We had 1 or 2 town hall meetings, and I think things like that should be encouraged. At the moment, within our community, we have loads of initiatives that people are putting together to resolve this problem. All of these initiatives will bring value at the end of the day. But it's a long, it's a problem that started a long time. It's a problem we need to tackle. It's very sad, very unfortunate, but the problem is really, really deep. It's because most of us are looking at it from the surface, but it's beyond the surface. Most of these children that carry knives, for example, they're from dysfunctional homes. Most of them. They're from dysfunctional homes where I was raised by a single mom. I never carried a knife. There are lots of people raised by single parents, either single mom or single dad. They don't carry knives. But when you look at the background of the people that do it, there's something from the home.
That is not right.
That is not right. There's something from the home. So to deal with this, I think the community has to come together. A lot of initiatives coming up, fantastic initiatives in our community. And we, as a community, we have to stand up and support them. For instance, rallies have been planned. Some have held. I saw one yesterday. Some are coming up. And some of these groups coming up with different ideas to deal with the problem. So the community needs to stand up. All of us need to support them.
I agree with you, because like I said, when you look at a situation like this, it's not good for anybody.
No.
Because you never know. In fact, when you look at even some cases where people that are not even involved, so
innocent people have been killed.
Have been killed, Now, that brings me to another area that is really current.
Yes.
It's current because it's something to do with the head of state of our country. He was here up till 2 days ago.
Yes.
And there was this situation where it was a case when he was interviewed I think on television, and then he came up with the statistics of our youth back home, that where there's still different kind of interpretation to what he said, how he said it, and when he said it. And there is a school of thought who said what he said, he should have not said it.
Yeah.
And there is also another class of people that said, you know what, he is right to say what he said, because that is exactly what the situation is. So, but for me, what I deducted from all what he said, he should not said it, he said it, is one thing. He alluded to the youth. So how, I don't want to say whether you agree or you don't disagree, how will you see the youth of Nigeria when we now, and this is my own take, when you now see that today, the youth of Nigeria, like I said, some of these problems are not overnight. Youth is, nobody was born at the age of 14, 16. We all from cradle up to a certain age. When you look at the situation in Nigeria where 4, 5, 6-year-old children are still hawking for their parents, go on selling or buying or whatever, and also up to a certain age of 14, 15, 16, they're supposed to be at school, are still hawking different kind of products, you know, just to earn 1,000 naira the whole day. Now, and for me, I am not saying that there's no gap or area of improvement, but will you agree that these youth, not all of them, but most of them, are not getting the benefit from the state like here, where it is a must. You must send your children to school. You cannot. The only people that will not send their children to school are the extremely rich people. But then again, they still have to follow the curriculum, even though they are doing that privately. So most of our Nigerians, most of our youths, are genuinely do not have good things of a country. Not to talk of their parents who are struggling to send their children to school. Will you agree with the general comment that youth of Nigeria are lazy?
No, unfortunately, I don't agree with that. I think what he was talking about is that there are lots of youths who are lazy, which is true, but the vast majority of Nigerian youths are hardworking people. I go to Nigeria regularly and I see them, I see these youths. I actually support a lot of students in Nigeria. They want to do something. Nigerian youths have been abused by the politicians. I'm sorry, I heap all the blames on the Nigerian politicians. I think Nigerian youths have been abused. They've been completely
taken advantage of
to such an extent that if you go to the states, to different. I went to my state the other time, I think some 5 years ago, with a friend of mine, and we met some 19-year-olds, 18 years, and we said, "What do you do?" And they said they are politicians. We were shocked. We were shocked because what do you know to become a politician at the age of 19? You don't even learn the trade. So I think Nigerian youths, you see them on the streets hawking.
Exactly,
hawking. A lot of Nigerian youths selling things. These are hard-working guys. You get on the Lekki-Ekpe Expressway, you see people carrying things that they want to sell, and they run after you. They're desperate. And you know, a lot of times, some of us pay more than the normal value just to make them happy. And you know, what we should be doing is encouraging our youth. We need to improve the state of our schools. We need to, you know, look at our educational system and try to make it more functional, because at the moment we're producing graduates and the graduates don't have jobs. And this is where I'm going when I talked about the Senate. If a senator is earning 15 million naira a month, no youth wants to work. Sorry, every youth would want to become a politician because maybe then I can earn that kind of money as well. But if we find a way to create more fairness in our society so that youths can get into jobs, they can go for training or they can go to schools and learn a trade. And when they come out, they're able to work. Then we can then accuse them of being lazy if they're not doing anything. But now the opportunities are not really there for them. So I wouldn't agree with that.
Yes.
I think it was a mistake, personally. I think
that the president should have not said that.
I think so. I think that in the even you know, because now the international community, because we need investors, right? Investors don't want to come and deal with lazy people. So if the investors that were supposed to bring business into the country feel that the youths are lazy, they don't want to bring business to that kind of a country. So that's why I said it's a mistake. But I think he meant well also, because I look at it differently. The president may be frustrated with some of the corruption, some of the rot, if found on the ground. And I can tell you there's so much of it in the land. But we cannot heap those blames on the youths. It's not the youths.
You just stumbled on another word which I wanted to take it quickly before we round up. Corruption.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers, which way do you think corruption can be best fought? Is it when the ordinary people are systematically being denied of basic things. What I mean by basic things, because like I said, I've said it and I repeat it, and I'll continue to repeat the same thing when I got to this point of my interview with my guest, that the basic things are very simple. They are the primary facilities or things that an average citizen of any country are entitled to, starting from education, starting from affordable housing, starting from Medicare, starting from a good housing, and then employment opportunity. It is true, there's no country in the universe that can provide 100% employment. It's not possible.
Yeah.
But the little a government can do is to make sure that an average person, an average citizen of their country get basic things. At least they have rights to certain things, which to me, I mean, stand to be challenged. We don't have that. So corruption, for me, may be it may be an anathema. It might be something that is not easily. But what will you say is the best way to fight corruption? Is it when we provide all these little things for everybody, and then we now go back and say, let me see who's going to be, or going by your solution of if there's a rule of law? If there's a rule of law,
yeah,
will everybody be saying if I corrupt, if I not corrupt anybody, you can't do me anything? Can this be connected together?
I don't think all of those, yeah, rule of law, providing all the basic amenities, providing all the infrastructure, providing an enabling environment, will support it. Okay, but that will never stop corruption. I have a unique solution to it.
Please go on.
But it may not be unique to Nigerians. But what I think should be done is that Mr. President should declare a financial amnesty and say that
financial amnesty. How
financial amnesty. Okay. Write a bill and take it to Parliament for them to enact a law that prohibits corruption. I know we have several laws at the moment, but then we say that from, say for example, October 1st, we will pass this law that makes, when you steal money, this is what happens to you. Okay, but then we now say we are declaring an amnesty. If you are owing, if we have record of some of the monies that you've stolen in the past, we will sit down with you, we will negotiate with you. So long as you agree with us, we will take 75% back. And then we will then declare that that financial amnesty is to, because a lot of people have stolen too much money. Actually, look, if you look at since 1999 till date, how many governors can you mention that does not have a case with EFCC? I'm serious. From 1999, when we went back into this third republic, how many governors do we have? How many governors have we had so far? Tell me, how many of them can you mention never had a case of stealing?
And still
so you can see that the problem is deep. So if we think that, you know, corruption is becoming a way of life,
it's endemic.
It's endemic. So we need to do something that is a little bit out of the box. Maybe now say, okay, all of us are thieves. Now, even though I'm not a thief, I'm not a thief. And I know you are not a thief too.
I know that Chief Robert, I know I'm all equally very poor. But then again, thank God. Now, corruption is a big topic. Most of the time I have my guests. Because of time, I've been told now we need to round up. Okay. Now, quickly, tell us your event. I mean, use the last just 1 minute. How, if we want to contact you, is there going to be ongoing? Is there any ongoing or future?
Yeah. So the
events,
the NDDIS was set up to help Nigerians who live in the UK to return back home if they want to set up their businesses.
You have a website?
www.nddis.co.uk.
www.nddis.co.uk.
We have the Nigerian Communications and Technology Summit coming up on the 10th and 11th of May. The Minister of Communications, we've invited 1 or 2 governors, we've invited Director Generals of parastatals. We want Nigerians in diaspora to come and look at how they can invest into that sector.
Is there any need to pay
Yes.
Okay.
It's costing us so much money to
Okay.
put this
To
together.
put together, yeah.
We have a 40-woman committee,
Okay.
actually led by women mainly. And we are asking people to pay £25 to come in.
Is that a flat? Or?
Yes, that's £25
Okay.
flat to come in. And there'll be refreshments, and then you listen to, there'll be D room. The D room is where you sit with the minister, or you sit with a governor or a commissioner, and you discuss your private business. We're having it at the Charing Cross Hotel in Strand.
Okay.
Very close to the High Commission. We have a cocktail party also around that area. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Finally, and this is the very last question, have I been rubbing mind with a potential governor of Ekiti or a senator, or are you, how much interest?
There was a time I said to myself, I said, I'll never ever ask to be voted for or again, or I will never run for an election. But then suddenly, about a few months back, I was called, by very important people in my own constituency, asking me to come and run for election for, actually the Senate seat is actually for my federal constituency.
Okay.
And I was asked to run. So I took that very seriously because I wanted to contribute my own quota. Then I went to them, I started having a chat with them, and then I heard about the bill. The bill is humongous. So for now, no. I'm still contributing to my country, to my community.
So if they want you, they have to, if they want you to come and run, they should.
If they want, if for me to run, the cost of running for elections in Nigeria is not for the diaspora. We're not yet. I'm not there yet. So maybe for now, I'm supporting my community, supporting my country.
Okay.
But I'm not running. There's no plan to run for any election at the moment.
Wow.
But and also, I've been invited also to be the coordinator for a strong presidential candidate.
Okay.
That was done in Abuja about 3 months ago.
Okay.
I've written them, documents and all that. Each they're still studying, and once, if that goes right, you might see me in the political scene very soon.
Okay.
If not, we see what happens.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
This junction, I want to thank you very much for coming. I know you have a very tight schedule. We planned this many months back, and it has been like I'm busy, I'm traveling, so you finally come to make it. It's our pleasure. It's been a great time. It's been a nice time having you.
Thank you.
Especially when we're talking of economics, empowerment, and so on and so forth, which is the immediate need of everybody.
Yes.
Now, again, Heritage TV, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
And we hope you enjoy yourself here.
That's good.
Right. So, folks, this is that's the end of another edition of One-on-One with OtunbaHOO. My guest has been Chief, I put the elder, Chief Bimbo Folayan. He's the chief, is the CEO of
Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summit, NDDIS.
And he will talk about the next event that is going to take place somewhere in Strand. If you Google it, you find all this information are available there. So, a quick one.
NDDIS.co.uk.
Okay.
NDDIS.co.uk. So register.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So, this is all what we have for you today. You can follow us as usual. Facebook is the commonest one. You can Instagram. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our website is also there, and also the apps for Heritage TV. And you can get us on iDraw. You can get us all software and so on and so forth. And this is how far we've gone, and we want to do more. Please, if you have any comments or any suggestion, feel free to get in touch with Heritage TV. So my name is Otunba Olabode osenie, with my guest,
Bimbo Folayan. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
The Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summit, NDDIS, presents the first Nigerian Communications and Technology Summit in London. Working in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Communications, the Office of the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs, the Nigerian High Commission in London, British African Business Alliance, we are attracting investors into the Nigerian economy. Our focus is on ICT on education, agriculture, health and business sectors. The summit will be attended by the Honourable Minister of Communications, State Governors, Director Generals of Agencies, UK Prime Minister's Advisor on Trade, private companies, individuals and diaspora business leaders and other international investors and funders. Come and meet potential investors, funders or partners. Date 10th and 11th May 2018. Venue Central London. To register, please visit www.nddis.co.uk.